Let me share my screen. Okay. Today my topic is I. Richard's two uses of language.
Okay, yes, Bhumika, can you keep the audio on in the device where video is on?
When I was on in this video mode on, then my echo sound back. I have found that.
No, you have to mute in this presentation જેમાંથી કરો છો એમાં મ્યુટ કરી દો સાવ અવાજ ઓડિયો બંધ અને આમાં જે કરો છો એમાં ઓડિયો ઓન રાખવાનો. See, audio is not audio off. Audio off. Okay. Okay, now you speak.
Now,
Yeah, it's okay. Yeah. Yes, now you share and keep on speaking something so we can come to know.
now it is clear, sir.
Yes, yeah. Yes,
Okay.
share your presentation now.
Screen is visible, sir.
Yes, screen also is visible. Yeah.
Okay. Today is my topic. I. Richard's two uses of language. So let's we begin. I am Bhumika Mahida, and I am giving presentation on the topic I. Richard's two uses of language from the paper 109. First, we introduce the Richard, I. Richard. I. Rechard, born in 1893, is one of the great critics of the modern age and has influenced a number of critics on both sides of the Atlantic. He and T.S. Eliot are pioneers in the field of new criticism, though they differ from each other in certain important respects. Richard, in this principle of literary criticism, chapter 34, he discusses the most neglected subject, that is the theory of language and the two uses of language. According to I. Richards, language can be used in two ways, which we have discussed. One of this the scientific use, and the second is the emotive use. So let's we define both of them. First, we have talked about the emotive use of language. What is the emotive use of language? Emotive language is the type of language which conveys or evokes an emotion in the mind of the reader. Emotive language often aims to persuade the reader or listener to share the writer or speaker's point of view with using language to simulate an emotional reaction. Then, if we talk about what Richard says about it, uh, in this using words in emotive manner means using them for the sake of attitudes and emotions which ensue. For example, in poetry, the word fire may denote with heart on fire, or on fire means in an excited state. Instead of recalling the object, the word stands to evoke an emotion. Then emotive language is designed to tell you the facts while influencing you to adopt the author's opinion. Here are examples of emotive language. Then the in the scientific use of language, um, first, when people are engaged in science, the language of communication they use tries to be more precise and consistent. Science often introduces technical words with specific meanings and also gives scientific meaning to words which may have a different usage in every language. Uh, then, what is the concept of scientific use of language? Uh, this may be this confusion occurs with the use of other scientific terms in a different context as well. For example, the common usage of the word plant generally refers to a small, low-growing shrub. Uh, but when the scientific term plant kingdom is introduced to students, they often have difficulty with the classification encompassing very large trees or small non-vascular mosses. And if we talk about another example, that is our parents forced us to make our bed. Uh, in context of power of relationships. In short, in the scientific use of language, we are usually matter of fact. All these activities covered by this use require undistorted references and absence of fiction. Then, if we talk about differences between both of the usage of languages, then we find that according to Rechard, in the scientific use of the language, the difference in reference is fatal, means a failure. But in the emotive language, it is not so. In the scientific use of language, the references should be correct and the relation of references should be logical. In the emotive use of language, any truth or logical arrangement is not necessary. Uh, then the attitudes due to references should have their emotional interconnection, and this has often no connection with logical relations of the facts referred to. Then Richards goes on to examine different uses of the word truth. Let's we see this concept of truth. In the scientific use, the references are true and logical. There is very little involvement of arts. Richard says that the term true should be reserved for the scientific use, but in the emotive power of the word is far too great for this. So Richards goes on to consider the connotations of the word truth is in criticism. If we talk about literary criticism, then the common use is acceptability and probability. For example, Robinson Crusoe is true in the sense of the acceptability and things we are told. In the interest of the narrative, whether or not such a person existed in real life is not relevant to the truth of the novel. Then Keats uses truth in a confused way because he said that what the imagination sizes as beauty must be truth. So, in the last, I want to say that Richard tries to promote the idea of harmony between science and poetry. We can conclude in short that chief motives of the writer is to establish the difference between the language of science and the language of art. Then here is my references. And thank you very much all.
Yes, you can stop sharing. And what is the source? From where have you referred to these examples? Yes. These examples, have you
Yes,
taken
sir.
from any of the source, or you have thought on your own?
Not any source. First, I take two uses of languages from our material side, and some from uh, the Google, and
Okay.
images from this Google, and some examples from my own imagination.
Okay, good. It was good. Well, you rightfully discussed. That was the point that we wanted to tell to Khushbu, that you have to study language, yeah? Language and how you analyze language when you talk about I.A. Richard. So it was very well done, and good discussion you have done on the aspects of language. Okay, fine. Questions to her in chat.